Good day to you, it's Mary Westley, and I'm very glad to have you on this journey that we are taking to search for the truth. So I hope that you will be blessed with me. Good day again to you, it's Mary Westley. We're continuing with this very interesting day of the Lord, but it's a time that is so near, and a time that is going to be like a time never before that happened in the world. Not in all the tragedies of the world can compare. So when we look at Revelation 11:2-13, we also see 2 olive trees and 2 menorahs standing before the Yahveh of all the earth. And if any man would hurt or try to kill them, fire would come out of their mouths to devour the attacker. I believe that the 2 witnesses of Revelation 11 will be the 2 prophets, Moses and Elijah. Moses turned the water into blood, etc. in Egypt, and he delivered the nation out of bondage. Moses also built the tabernacle of Yahweh in the wilderness. Elijah ministered to the northern tribes. He caused it not to rain on Israel for 3 years and brought the nation back to Yahweh when he destroyed the altars and the priests of Baal. The house of Israel became the Melchizedek priesthood in the renewed covenant. And I believe that the 2 witnesses represent the first covenant temple and the renewed covenant temple built with living stones. In the 7th millennium to come, there will only be 1 temple, the Ezekiel temple. These prophets have the Holy Spirit power to shut the heavens and that it rain not, and will also smite the earth with all kinds of plagues. They are called to prophesy in Jerusalem for the last 3.5 years of the tribulation. Then the beast out of the bottomless pit shall overcome and kill them. Their bodies will not be buried, and the people will rejoice, because these prophets tormented them with their words. Then after 3.5 days the Spirit of Elohim shall enter them, and they will live, and a great fear will fall on those who saw them. And a great voice from heaven shall be heard, calling them to heaven. And as they are being raised to heaven, a great earthquake will destroy 1/10 part of the city. Now we're going to Zechariah 6:10-14. These are all the prophecies that God gave Zechariah. Take of them of the captivity, even of Heldai, of Tobijah, and of Jediah, which are come from Babylon, and come thou the same day, and go into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah. I'm going to speak their Hebrew names now. Heldai is called Heldai. Sees life as a fleeting moment, like a dream. And we know to Yahweh 1 day is as 1,000 years. Toviyah means the goodness of Yah. Good is Yah to me. This is what it says in the Hebrew. Yediah means Yah has known him. Now remember the word Yada, to know him as familiar friend and kinsman redeemer. He knew Yeshua that way because Yeshua was at Yahweh's side from before the earth was created in beginning. He was well known by Yahweh. And Yoshia means founded by Yah. Founded is a conception, established, foundation. And then there is one priest called Chen, Grace, son of Zephaniah. Yah has secreted or kept secret. Now Yeshua was seen as Yahweh's son only in the 4th millennium, as the perfect Pesach, as the man of grace. Then take silver and gold and make crowns and set them upon the head of Yehoshua. Yah has saved, the son of Yehotzadak. It means like Yatzedek, Yah of righteousness. It is speaking here of Yeshua, the son of the righteous Yahweh, known and loved from beginning, chosen by the Father as the King and High Priest to come. This was a double crown made in one circle, a kingly crown, and the other circle, a priestly crown, 2 circles in one crown. And when we look at all the other names of the priest, you will see that they also speak something about the coming of the Mashiach and at the time of the anti-Messiah. Meshulam means completed, finished, restored. The nation of Israel will be saved and restored. And Yeshua, he will save, takes it from Bani, built. Yeshua will be the cornerstone of the new spiritual temple. And Shereviah is Yahweh brought drought, parched ground. That is during the time when the false Messiah will be prevalent there. That even the ground will be parched. And then the other priest, Yamin, the right-hand side, and Akuv means to supplant, insidious. Speaking about the anti-Messiah, who is Yeshua's supplanter at that time of the tribulation. And then there is Shabbatai, my rest, and Hodja is majesty of Yah, and Atzraya, and it means Yah has helped, and Yehotzavat, Yahweh endowed, granted, Hanan, favor, mercy, Beliah, Yah has distinguished, made noteworthy, supreme, remarkable. And verse 12 says, and speak unto him, saying, thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, behold the man whose name is the branch. Remember the Natsar, spoken of by Isaiah and Jeremiah, and he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of Yahweh. Even he shall build the temple of Yahweh, and he shall bear the glory, and shall sit and rule upon his throne. And he shall be a priest upon his throne. So it means that's the king and priest, and the council of peace shall be between them both. And the crowns shall be to Helem and to Tobijah and to Yediah and to Chen, the son of Zephaniah, for a memorial in the temple of Yahweh. Herein Yahweh is signifying the final redemption and ingathering of the nation of Israel. Memorial is Sahar, to mark is to be recognized, to remember, to mention, to recount, to record, be mindful. The house of Judah will always remember that the great honor was theirs of bringing forth the Son of Elohim, who was given as a gift to save the world from their sins. And when we see all the meanings of these names together, we cannot help being awed about the importance of the Hebrew names given to us in the Bible. I was amazed when I looked at the names of the sons of Jacob. It was the same. He wanted Judah to know. He wanted Judah to know about the son, but they didn't. It's only in the Hebrew language it's revealed how Yahweh gave names to his prophets and to his priests at that time by his inspiration. It was meant for the nation to see the revelation of their Messiah. It's revealing his character and his beauty as a true king and priest, and Melchizedek, the son of Yahweh, the father of us all, who is building the temple of Yahweh in the renewed covenant with living stones. And in the 7th millennium, he will build the Ezekiel temple of Yahweh, because the temple that will be built for the anti-Messiah in the near future in Jerusalem will be destroyed through all the earthquakes. Then we go to Zechariah 9:9. Zechariah heard Yahweh saying that Zion must begin to shout and rejoice greatly because their king is coming with righteousness and salvation. He will be riding on a lowly ass. He shall speak peace, and his dominion will be from one sea to the next sea, and from the Euphrates even to the ends of the earth. He will bend Judah for himself as a bow, and he will fill the bow with Ephraim. And he will raise up the sons of Zion against the sons of Greece, and will make them like a sword of a mighty man. And Yahweh will save them, and they shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon the land. For great is Yahweh's goodness and his beauty. In Zechariah 11 heard Yahweh saying that he will not have pity on his people anymore after they crucified Yeshua and breaking all his commandments again. He sees Yahweh with two sticks in his hand, the one he called beauty, its symbol is graciousness, and the other he called bands, its symbol is union. He took beauty and he cut it asunder. Gada means to destroy, to make desolate, like felling a tree, to hew down. Then he sees the siege of Jerusalem. There is famine, and some people started eating their own dead. Titus razed and burnt the city and the temple of Yahweh, plus minus 40 years after the crucifixion of Hamashiach. In verse 12 and 13, Zechariah sees the betraying of the Messiah by Judas Iscariot for 30 pieces of silver. And I said unto them, if you think good, give me my price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. And Yahweh said unto me, cast it unto the potter, a goodly price that I was priced at of them. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of Yahweh. And we see this fulfilled in Matthew 27:3-7. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, Yeshua, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought it again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? See thou to that. And he cast out the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, it is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. And they took counsel and brought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Therefore that field is called the field of blood unto this day. Then Zechariah saw Yahweh taking bands, the other staff, and he cut it asunder, thus breaking the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. He even sees Yahweh raising up the idol shepherd. The anti-Messiah will be wounded through a sword. His arm shall be dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Verse 16 and 17. And then it says, for lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off. Speaking about the anti-Messiah. Neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that that is broken, nor feed that stands still, but they shall eat the flesh of the fat and tear their claws in pieces. Zechariah 11:17 says, woe to the idle shepherd that leaves the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. We saw that. We'll see that. Zechariah 12:6-10. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like an hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf. And they shall devour all the people round about on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. And Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first, and the glory of the house of David, and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. And the house of David shall be as Elohim, as the angel of Yahweh before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of Judah, or David, upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the spirit of grace and of supplications. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him, as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. Zechariah 13:1. In that day there shall be a fountain opened to the house of David, or Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and uncleanness. And here Yahweh signified the final redemption and ingathering of the nation of Israel, the coming Messiah as the Tzemach, the branch, as the final king and high priest Melchizedek again. Zechariah 14:2-7 says, For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle, and his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Adzal. Yea, ye shall flee, like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And Yahweh Elohai shall come, and all the saints with thee. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to Yahweh, not day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. And Yahweh shall be king over all the earth. In that day there shall be one Lord, and his name one. All the land shall be turned as a plain, from Geba to Ramon, south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananel unto the king's wine presses. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongues shall consume away in their mouth. Here it's speaking about nuclear. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from Yahweh shall be among them. They shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the horse and of the mule, of the camel and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents, as this plague. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh Tzebaoth, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Wow. Isaiah 49:10-17 says, They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that has mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. And I will make all my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted. Behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north and from the west, these from the land of Sinim. Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains. For Yahweh hath comforted his people, and will have mercy upon his afflicted. But Zion said, Yahweh has forsaken me, and my Adonai has forgotten me. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee. Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me. Thy children shall make haste, thy destroyers, and they that made thee waste shall go forth of thee. Lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves together and come to thee. As I live, says Yahweh, they shall surely clothe thee with them all as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth. For thy waste in thy desolate places, and the land of thy destruction shall even now be too narrow, by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallowed thee up shall be far away. Isaiah 19:20-25 says, And Yahweh shall smite Egypt, he shall smite and heal it, and they shall return even to Yahweh, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. And in that day there shall be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrians. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land, whom Yahweh of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt my people, and Assyria the work of my hands, and Israel mine inheritance. Hallelujah. 1 Corinthians 15:24 says, Then cometh the end, then shall he have delivered up the kingdom to Yahweh, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. For he must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death, for he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that puts all things under him, that Yahweh may be all in all. And say unto them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone. I will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. One king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with the detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and I will cleanse them. So they shall be my people, me, and I will be Elohim to them. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, hukim, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, and even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and I will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that Yahweh do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel, be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. Yahweh has taken away thy judgments, the mishpatim. He hath cast out thine enemy. The King of Israel, even Yahweh, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil any more. In the day it shall be said to Jerusalem, Fear thou not, and to Zion, let not thy hands be slack. Yahveh Elohecha in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save, he will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love, he will joy over thee with singing. It's a time that I wouldn't wish on my greatest enemy. That's going to happen in the future, and if we're not ready, we'll have to go all through all that. So it's Mari Whiskey signing off. Until next time when we meet again. Shalom, and Yahweh bless you. Thank you for joining me today on today's journey. I hope you will join me again next time. So, shalom for today until I see you again.